everyone, RogueGold here. Welcome back to the Division 2. And today, I'm coming back at you with a lore video. It has been a long time since we did one of these. To be honest, the lore and story has been moving pretty slow in these recent seasons. There's much less frequent updates to give compared to years and seasons past. That said, the finale for this current season, Mutiny, is dropping in just over a week, and it is said to be notably unique from any other Manhunt mission that we've had before. Now, I'm talking about that in a gameplay sense, but the story building up to it has been becoming more and more revealing as well, so I figured let's take the opportunity today to talk about some of the important nuggets that we've gotten so far and set up what is to come next week. If it wasn't clear, this video will contain full spoilers for everything that has been released for the Mutiny season up until now. That includes comms, scouts, all of it, so click off now if you don't want those. As we dive in though, if you enjoyed this one, you want to stay tuned for everything coming up on the finale and what's next for the Division 2, then be sure to subscribe. A huge shout out and thank you to our channel members. As always, your support allows me to keep going, bringing you these videos, and I appreciate it so much. But without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so Mutiny. This is one of those seasons where I think the premise is pretty neat, right? We have a true Sun mutiny playing out in real time that spills directly into the actual gameplay, with us being able to see and recruit these defectors. From a lore standpoint, however, not much has really happened since the season began. It's definitely one of those storylines where the big beats are the introduction and the finale, and then the middle is just kind of waiting for that to happen. That said, while there have been some developments on that front, which we'll get to, there's one other crucial piece of information that has dropped in the last few weeks, and that is, we found Kelso. I'm not kidding. Take a listen.
I got caught in a skirmish with the True Sons today. They had me cornered. For a moment there I was, thinking, well, that's it. So they were standing there, screaming at me. One of them held a rifle so close I could practically see down the barrel. But then there was this knocking sound. The screaming stopped, and everyone was just laying on the ground. There was just one of them left standing. She stepped toward me and said, "Are you okay?" Then she grabbed my hand and pulled me up. "Watch your six," she said, before just taking off like nothing happened. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, Manny, but something's changing. I've been hearing stories. People are finally starting to rise up.
So, yeah, this kind of just dropped out of nowhere. It is one of the first Kelso comms and just new dialogue overall from that character in a long time. If you listen closely, I believe this is a new voice actor voicing her. I have not confirmed that, to be clear, but I think that that played a part in Kelso's long absence from the narrative, was that her old actor simply became unavailable. Regardless, it is very nice to see her back here. It did feel a little bit funny to me that she got captured by some random True Sons. The last time we saw her, she was supposed to be going off the grid to hide from the likes of the Black Tusk and the Hunters, since she has the very desirable presidential clearance. But irony aside, it was nice to hear from her, nice to get that anecdote of her noticing that there was a bit of a momentum shift happening around the city, and that plays right into the context of the next comm that I want to listen to. As we noted, the narrative hasn't really been advancing all that much. The comms this season mostly consist of small moments or confrontations between defectors and loyalists, or Anderson and other characters. This one, though, was our first hint that something larger might be brewing. Take a listen.
Honestly, I don't know how I feel anymore.
It doesn't matter how you feel. What matters is holding on to your principles.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the problem. How is this better than before? The castle had problems, but at least it felt right.
You're losing sight of things. This whole foobar situation ain't gonna fix itself today or tomorrow. It's a long game.
Maybe I don't want to play their game anymore.
Keep quiet! You're gonna get us both killed with that talk.
Good. And maybe I wouldn't have to stick around in this hellhole.
Look, what if I told you there's another option? A way out.
I'm listening.
What do you know about Rising Echo?
So, firstly, I think it is neat to see that people on our side can flip too. The two we were listening to there were former castle residents who left to join the True Sons. So I just think those kinds of dynamics add some depth and realism to the world. The ending of that, though, is the hook, right? What is Rising Echo that they're referring to? Well, that comm was from a number of weeks ago. Since then, we've gotten one that is a bit more revealing. Here it is.
Wilson and Lopez answered the call. They're on watch at the foundry.
It seems our modest band of outlaws is starting to look like a real resistance. Anyone heard from Corporal Barnes?
We lost them.
Shit. Can we move to Operation Rising Echo without him?
If the timing's right. Anderson's a slippery bastard, more paranoid than ever. Even so, we've got the numbers. But if our intel's wrong, the resistance dies right here.
Truth is, we can't pull this off without the division.
You think they'll listen to Wally?
They'll listen. They have to.
So, you heard it there. Operation Rising Echo is a plan formulating amongst the True Sons defectors to assassinate Anderson. Now, we knew that he was likely going to be the target of this overall mutiny, but they lay it out very plainly here. They also reveal that cooperation from us, the division, is going to be integral in making this happen, supposedly. And so that leads us right to the finale mission, which is dropping next week from when I'm making this. There is a bit of a twist this time around. It has been hinted at a good number of times up until now, but got essentially fully revealed thanks to last week's Manhunt Scout intel briefing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, these are just the little text boxes that we get alongside each new scout. These are normally a whole lot of nothing, right? They'll say something like, True Sons are moving into Southwest, or reports indicate activity in Foggy Bottom, go investigate. But this one for Scout 10 actually gave us some pretty critical info. It reads, the True Sons defectors are planning a massive attack against the Foundry, codenamed Operation Rising Echo. So, as I said, this isn't a huge shock, but it is nice to finally have confirmation. If you're unaware of what the Foundry is, they're referring to the Ironworks Foundry, and that is the location of the Operation Iron Horse raid. I would say this is one of the more unique and visually striking locations in the Division 2. And so yeah, with this confirmation, all signs point to us heading back there for this season's climax mission. The first hint that we got about this was in last season's finale. I believe there was a dialogue line that suggested that this is where Anderson may have retreated to. Then that ending cutscene that we got confirmed that, as that's where they were standing. Then it was in one of the dev streams leading up to the release of Mutiny that the devs pretty strongly teased that this was indeed happening, that we would be returning to the Foundry for the finale. Now, I just want to address it very quickly for any of you who may be thinking, oh god, I have to play a raid for the finale. No. Just like we have the Season 10 finale located at the Penco Fairview power plant, which is the map of the Countdown game mode, but you weren't actually playing the 8-player Countdown mode, this should just be repurposing the Iron Horse location for your traditional climax mission. Now, since it is here, they might have the opportunity to utilize some of Iron Horse's mechanics to spice up the gameplay a little bit. Stuff like using the ascent chain that is within the Williams boss room, that would be sick. But this should just be a location reuse more than anything else, which I still think is great to see. Myself and many others have been saying for a while now that the devs should use any and every location at their disposal so that these missions have the greatest amount of variety as possible. Places like the raids, or even Kenley College, use one of the Dark Zone maps for a mission. So I think this is going to be a fun change of pace. I hope we see more of it in the future. But shifting back to the narrative significance, what stood out to me is how that intel brief states that a massive attack is being planned by the defectors. That leads me to believe that this won't just be a simple infiltration and assassination. Now, we know that the devs like as much as possible to interweave story and gameplay in these seasons, right? Well, in my view, what better way to give us a huge stakes final battle than to fill the mission with appearances from the defector companions that we've already been seeing all season out in the open world. In case you haven't come across this in-game yet, the game can actually handle quite a lot of companions being in one location at once. I pulled this photo from Reddit to demonstrate. Now, this is definitely not the most that I've seen loaded into one spot, but it should at least be decently representative. I think it would be awesome if alongside our own companion, as we move through the mission, waves of defectors run in and fight alongside us. Would certainly up the stakes and scale. And so yeah, all signs are pointing to Operation Rising Echo, setting the stage for a very explosive finale in which we assault the Foundry in order to find and eliminate Anderson. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but I don't think he's getting out of this one. He's escaped twice before already, and so I think this is going to be his last stand, one way or the other. Well, my friends, there you have it. That is my lore recap and rundown for today, as well as what to expect heading into next week's finale. As I said in the intro, it has been a while since we did one of these, but I miss talking about the lore, so I hope that you all enjoyed this one. I would love to get your guys' thoughts on any and everything that we went over. What do you think about the story so far this season, Kelso's return or Operation Rising Echo? And what are your predictions heading into next week's finale? Do you think we're going to see some big scale battles take place at the Foundry? Do you think Anderson is actually going to get taken out? Maybe he escapes again? Whatever you've got, let me know down below. Can't wait to read through it. That is just about everything that I've got for you today, though. Thank you all so much for coming by and watching, but until I see you next, RogueGold. Ow. Oh! We just got a Ravenous! Haha! I might not be friendly.
Experience
Let's
is
go.
coming to the Division 2.
Let's go!
And